Hey everybody, welcome to Breakfast with Bob from Challenge Daytona. We're here at the beautiful Daytona Speedway. We're brought to you by Toyota, the Daytona International Speedway, the NASCAR Foundation, the YMCA, and the City of Daytona Beach. Joining us, Eric Lagerstrom, Paula Findlay, coming off huge races out in Quinta last week, having a win at Quinta. That was pretty fun for you, Paula.
Yeah, it was really good. Kind of unexpected and a nice way to finish the year. So
well, take us back a little bit, because you've struggled the last few years just with injuries and just getting back. What was the lowest point for you?
The lowest point was definitely after the 2012 Olympics, so it goes back pretty far.
Yeah.
And I still kind of made a go at ITU after the Olympics and tried to go to Tokyo, didn't qualify. So then I made the jump over to 70.3, and since then it's been fairly successful. I mean, I've had some downs, and I usually get injured at least once a year, but throughout it, I've had some good results that have kind of kept me in the sport. And having a race like last weekend definitely helps to continue my momentum.
Especially towards the end of the season, right? It sort of gives you something to carry into the training.
Exactly. After every year, you kind of question, why am I still doing this? Should I keep racing and training? And after having a win, it's kind of a no-brainer. I definitely want to go till next year. So, yeah, it's nice.
When you went into the Olympics 2012, you went in injured, correct?
I was injured the year kind of leading into it. I wasn't actually injured at the Olympics, but as you know, when you're hurt for so long, it's hard to get back to the level you need to be at to
especially
be
racing. It's not like you're racing in Podunk. You're racing at the Olympic Games where everybody's there.
Yeah,
in London.
There were a lot of factors that year. I was anemic and I was injured, and there was it was a stressful time for a 20-year-old who was kind of a bit new to the whole scene, especially at that level. But I learned a lot from it, and I'm using that to kind of make my career more successful now. So
right, and you're enjoying the longer distances.
Yeah, really like the 70.3. It's a lot different atmosphere and things at versus the ITU races, but I like the distance. I think it suits me better now as a bit of an older athlete, and it's fun.
So for you, it's similar, right? Your Olympics was the focus going into 2016, right? Going there and not making the team, having
just barely missed it,
barely missed the team, and your teammates,
Joe Moy and Greg Billington.
Both of those guys, they make the team.
Yeah.
How hard was that for you when here's guys that you know in training, you're hurting them, and then at the Olympics, they get to go to the Olympics and you missed out?
It was pretty tough, but I don't think it was as tough as it might have been for some people, because 1 year out from the Olympics, I was ranked something like 180th in the world, and at the beginning of 2015.
Yeah.
And I actually had decided I wasn't going to do ITU anymore. I was just going to race the non-draft series, the Lifetime series.
Yes.
And then in February of that year, they ended up canceling that series, and I had nothing to do, so I ended up going and racing a bunch of ITU races after all. And just for whatever reason, that off season that I trained super well, I won a couple of Continental Cups, went and got a 10th at a World Cup, and all of a sudden in the course of a couple more WTS races, I was 65th in the world, and in the conversation for the Olympic team. So the whole year for me was just kind of
sort of a bonus.
A bonus came out of nowhere, and then it ended up not working out the next year in 2016. But I think I've come to terms with it now that it's another race, and it's something that I really wish I could have done, but I don't have any reservations about how hard I tried to get there. Where I came from.
Yeah, you know that you guys on the squad.
Yeah,
you guys busted your ass just to get the fact that the two of the guys made the team from that one squad, that Paulo's team, and that you were right there on the brink. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a really special thing. We all lived in the same house together and trained together every day, and I had to do bum rides to the grocery store and stuff, and it was a formative time, and I'm super happy with how it set me up for just everything that I'm still hoping to do in the sport.
Well, and then to me, some of the big breakthroughs, you go and you win Escape from Alcatraz, and then you follow it up with Beijing.
Yeah.
Right? 2 huge wins. Right?
Yeah, huge for me at the time, for sure.
Especially, I think didn't you out sprint Andy Potts for that win, and his Andy was going for his 100th in a row or something like that.
I think he was going for his 7th win. And I was there for the first time. I got a +1 bonus trip because my girlfriend at the time got invited, and
so you were the ribbon.
Yeah, they were just
and you were the ribbon.
Yeah, they were just well, I guess you can come too because it won't cost us an extra hotel room or anything.
And then you win.
So I think that's the power of going in with zero expectation and just kind of being excited about the scene.
Right. So last week you get second at La Quinta.
Yep.
And you've dealt with mainly foot injuries. Is that the main thing?
Well, I've had a lot of hip issues that have kind of created this nerve pain that goes down my left leg. And in a lot of races, I'll just be on the bike and like I literally cannot control that left leg. It just kind of feels like no matter how hard I focus, like pedal in a circle, it's just kind of doing its own thing and it gets all tight. And that all stems from a labral tear that I have in the left hip, which I hear isn't super uncommon to have a labral tear and have it not cause pain, but just be stiff. And so I've been kind of working through that with physical therapy and everything. And I have some good times and some bad times, but I think that's like part of becoming an older athlete. There's some stuff you got to manage.
So, Paula, for you, that transition from Olympic to this, it's a little mellower feel, right? You go when you go to the start of those WTS races and you're standing on the dock and it's...
Yeah, definitely. You have the drums and it's like such a production, the helicopters. And World Championships in Nice felt like that.
It did, yeah,
but
absolutely.
It's not like that at every race. There's usually a smaller field and... I usually go into a race feeling like I could potentially podium at a 70.3, whereas in the ITU, you really never know.
It's such a crapshoot because it's not about... I remember watching when Chris McCormick decided he was going to come back to the ITU.
Yeah.
And he was like 30 seconds back off the bike and was in 70th place.
Right. I mean, the margins are so small.
It's
and
ridiculous.
Especially the takeout on the swim. And back in 2010, when I was having success and winning those races, it's a different feel. You do feel like, okay, I belong at the front, and then you find yourself there. But when you're struggling a bit and having a bad race, it's really tough to make your way back in those races just because they're so fast.
And you got into this stuff so young. You're swimming at 10 and
I mean,
junior squad 2007, 2008. I mean, you were into this really young and had success right away.
Yeah.
When you have success right away, you sort of expect that's just sort of I'm supposed to be winning.
Right. I think that's part of the struggle I had after London as I started the sport with so much success and got sponsors really young and was kind of thrown into the media a little bit in Canada and didn't have a lot of experience with that. So I had to almost backwards learn it after London when I didn't have that support as much. And it's brought me to today, like having learned in a kind of a reverse fashion, starting with success and then not having as much luck later on. So it's kind of an interesting backwards.
Yeah, but the nice thing about that, when you were used to having sponsors, and then you find out that they're pretty fickle, things all of a sudden they're gone. It's like, well, wait a second, I'm still the same person.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm a few spots down on the totem pole here, but I'm still the same person you invested in before. Yeah,
I've had to kind of like not attach my self-worth to what other people think. And I used to always think my results were kind of defined me, and I do well, I make money, I get sponsors, I get attention, that's great. But when you don't have that, it's really hard to feel like you're I don't know, to respect yourself.
Right, exactly, to feel that you're important.
Yeah,
exactly.
So you just have to kind of totally segregate like your results from your, pride in yourself and everything.
From who you are.
Yeah, exactly. So
and you've been able to do that.
I have, otherwise I wouldn't be in the sport still, because it does, it is very fickle, as you said, and I lost almost all of my sponsors like at certain points, and I'm still in it despite it being like a difficult way to make money right now as an adult. And when I was having success as a 20-year-old, I wasn't thinking of it as a career. I didn't really need the money at that time in my life. I was like very supported by my parents and just Triathlon Canada. So yeah, it's a very different feeling like it's a career now versus before I just wanted to go to the Olympics and be a world champion.
And what I enjoy is watching the different videos you guys post, because it's more about the lifestyle of the sport, right? We forget sometimes because it is swim, bike, run, paycheck, podium, that type of stuff. Yeah. But there isn't a better lifestyle. It's
true. We're pretty lucky, and we realize that when we're making these videos. And Eric's so awesome at kind of documenting our day-to-day. It's kind of picked up momentum over the last couple of weeks, but awesome to do this with Eric. Like, I don't know if I'd still be in the sport if I didn't have someone to do it with. We train together every day. He's kept it fun. We can travel to races together, and we kind of ride the highs and lows together. It's pretty sweet that we both had good races last weekend, but that doesn't always happen. So just kind of learning to deal with each other's highs and lows. And
Eric, when one of you have a great race, and for whatever reason Paula DNFs or doesn't have a good race, obviously inside you're like, I had this great race, but you don't, your partner did not have a good race, so you've got to sort of modulate that a little bit.
Yeah, you gotta like kind of I don't know, tuck it away for a minute, like reel it in for a second and kind of check in with them. But like Paula's honestly pretty good. Even when she doesn't have a good race, she can have, for the most part, for at least a brief period of time,
right.
you know, as I'm like having that moment, let me have the moment. And then the next day we can go into okay, let's figure out how to fix whatever went wrong with you, or, you know, whatever it is. And I think we both do a pretty good job of that. It's the worst thing that you can have happen is you see the other person having a good time, and that just makes you more mad that you're having a bad time. And
right.
like that'll happen in training sometimes, I won't lie, because you just get so tired and your ability to deal with something decreases. So
right.
sometimes we'll do this flip-flop thing where she'll be in a great mood and I'll be in a bad mood. It just makes me mad she's in a good mood, and then all of a sudden she'll like hit her limit and it'll flip and she'll just decide she's in a bad mood, and then I'm like, oh shit, this is I gotta be in a good mood now, I gotta fix this. And then we're like doing this teeter-totter thing, and eventually we realize and come back to neutral.
So riding the track here a little bit, pretty fun?
So cool. Well, I mean, I've seen it on TV and stuff,
yeah.
and I've paid attention to car racing a bit growing up, but I had no idea just the scale.
100,000 people
Insane.
arena to be able to ride your bike around.
Yeah,
and the banking on the corners.
Did you go up on it?
I mean, I did a couple just, you know, like track cyclist type loops.
It's too steep to be
at
able
the
to ride
steepest
on.
parts, I mean, you would just
slide down.
It's so steep.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
insane. Yeah.
So, and for your race, you guys are on this the whole time, 15
Yeah.
laps or so or something.
Yeah. I mean, I think the hardest part of the race is going to be keeping count.
Yeah.
But you're
really.
both looking forward to it, racing here.
Oh,
yeah, it'll be really fun. It's a unique distance. There's really nothing to compare it to because
No.
we've never done. It's kind of between
Which is
an
sort of
Olympic
cool,
and a half.
right? No expectations.
cool, yeah.
And the
Yeah.
nice thing is you're able to look at last week and go, oh, this is you know, like not half, but a little bit more than what we did
Yeah.
last week. But it's not certainly
Exactly.
not the
It's
same.
going to feel short, even though
gonna
it's
feel
even
short.
though it's not that
It's
short.
some hours, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
very cool.
And it's a good field here too. I think it's
really
they brought
good
in
field.
some really, Lionel's here, Lucy's
Yeah.
here, so it's not going to be like a cherry pick race. It's going to be really hard.
Yeah,
so
perfect.
it'll be fun.
Well, thank you guys for taking time. I'm always excited to see you guys doing well. Eric and I go back a lot of years.
Yeah,
When
I know.
First,
Yeah.
when the squad just got together in San Diego, and those guys were living on air mattresses and trying to figure out can we make a living in this, and just seeing all those
Yeah.
guys and just guys having success in the sport, but more importantly, just being happy and still loving the lifestyle.
Yeah. I mean, you certainly don't need to be doing super well or be making a bunch of money to enjoy the process of what
Right.
we're doing.
Love it. Thanks, you guys,
Thank
and
you,
we'll
Bob.
see
Thank you,
you
Bob.
after the race.
Yeah, sounds
All right.
good. Thank you.
Eric Lagerstrom, Paula Findlay. Hold on, everybody. We will be right back.